the scene of a fire, we're so focused on operating at the fire, searching your house, checking the basement, fighting the fire to save your lives, save your properties. What we're not paying attention to is the carcinogens that are in the smoke of the fires that we fight.
We're not breathing what we were breathing 30 years ago. We're breathing much different things than we were breathing back then. Then it was mostly wood, and now it's plastics and a lot of other things. You know, the contaminants are much different than it was back then.
Furnishings in homes and businesses are playing a huge role in the jump in cancer rates.
The #1 way firefighters die is due to cancer. The smoke we're dealing with today is more toxic than anything we've ever experienced. Off-gassing of our gear, sending those fumes, sending those particulates of cancer-causing carcinogens into the air. Little did I know I was exposing not only myself, but my family to these carcinogens. Big deal. And there's got to be some solutions to that.
I'm one of those old-timers who likes that smelly gear in the back of my truck, but I realize that's not a good idea anymore, so we probably shouldn't do that anymore. After 9/11, when we were there on the pile that night, and weeks later I saw some pictures that we took. The same picture with a flash compared to the picture without a flash, it looked like it was a snowstorm. We had no idea we were breathing all that stuff. We had no idea that stuff was everywhere. And that kind of hit me and said, holy cow, what are we breathing here? What is this stuff? I had my gear on the whole time, everybody did, and I'm gonna throw that in the car. Now I'm driving that back a half hour to go home and driving around to go to dinner and putting, you know, possibly my kids someday and my wife, and they're gonna breathe all this stuff. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So that's kind of when it hit me originally that maybe this is a problem. I remember looking at the cabinets we were building and thinking about how do we do this better, right? We're building these cabinets, they're spending a lot of money to buy these things, but it's really not solving the problem. First we just made a box, right? You throw it in a box and that's great, it solves that problem, right? And that's not an issue. But then you open the door of the box, all that stuff is still sitting there, and you're just pulling it back out, and it's like a big cloud of stuff coming right back at you. So then we decided we came up with an idea for a ventilated box, where we can pull in some fresh air, eject the bad air out of the bottom of the vehicle, keep that ventilating all the time, also helps dry the gear as well, and keeps those contaminants away from their family, and away from them too, which is important.
The Gear Clear has a metal insert sealed box that goes in, so it's not just a plywood box, it's a manufactured steel box that goes in there. It has a 3/4 inch door that is sealed with a compression lock that keeps it closed tightly so that when everything is in there, it doesn't leak out. There's fresh air coming in and it exhausts out of the vehicle.
By nature, as firefighters, we're selfless. We don't really worry about ourselves. But we sometimes have to slow down and take a breath and realize that the people at home, they're kind of counting on you to make it home. And I think life is probably better for them with me in it than me not in it, or me getting cancer and taking 10 years to die.
I know I have kids and I wouldn't want to expose them to some of the contaminants that every firefighter brings with them out of a fire. Our system just seals it up, holds it in one place and circulates air and vents it out of the car. It's something that everybody should have.
Whoever's in the car, plus you as the driver, you're being exposed to this absolutely unnecessarily. And again, you're gonna put a box in the back anyway, you're gonna have command equipment. Why wouldn't you do this?
I don't know how you can be an active firefighter of any sort but not have a product like this in the vehicle. I don't know how you can just lay your gear back in the vehicle anymore, knowing what we know today.
We're talking about a box in the back of a vehicle that we know can measurably reduce carcinogens. Why wouldn't you do that?